just calling to say I just calling to say I
Heaven just knows what it wants. Will I go back to the place where I belong? Everyone could break my heart, but I try my best to not fall apart. And I found it hard to let go. The memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. You'll be my pleasure. I got nothing to be scared of, because where people live, there is always love. I know the answers in my heart, so I'll try my best to not fall apart. And I found it hard to let go. The memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, the ones who never say never. Will you be my pleasure?
Hand on the wheel, got my pistons pumping, all 800 horses running. Oh, baby. 125 in the middle of the night, got my engine thundering. Dream machine, racing queen, I'll take you wherever you wanna go. Let's slow this down, break this.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to, well, my first ever rFactor 2 broadcast. Today we've got a very special event here. We are watching the Mazda MX5 versus the Renault Clio Cup event here. We've got 15 minutes of qualifying before getting into a set of 3 races here. So I'm beyond excited to get that one started. Currently everybody making their way to the track here as Benjamin might just have damaged his car already before we even get out there. So that's not a great start to be. Now, if anybody could let me know if the comms sound okay for now, if there's anything wrong with my mic or with the game sound, please let me know as soon as possible so I can try and fix that here. As it's my first time watching an rFactor 2 event here. Which is pretty fun if you ask me. Always fun to get into a new game here. My name is Ricky DC from a broadcasting agency called RDC Broadcasting, which is my own. And today I was asked to provide commentary for this rFactor 2 event, which I'm pretty excited for. Beautiful voice, thank you lads, but that was not what I was aiming for. But I'll appreciate the compliments anyways. Now the format for this event is quite simple. We've got a maximum of 15 Mazda MX5 Cups on the grid, as well as a maximum of 15 Renault Clios on the grid here. They are fighting for individual championships, so between the MX5 and Clio Cup standings there are no direct correlations, although obviously you are sharing the server, and I am pretty convinced as well that for some drivers out here, it is also a little bit of a power meeting between the two, right? Who's faster, me in the Clio or he in the MX5? Now, right now, there's 21 drivers out there on the grid tonight. We are at Lime Rock Park, located in Connecticut, America. As Maurizio Rossetti has set purple into Sector 1 now in his gray and white Renault Clio RS. Sean's right ahead of him now, but as the times are coming in here, we'll see if they're able to keep that up. As Ronchetti has been beaten in Sector 1, he does go purple into the second sector now. Can he keep that up? Only time will tell. It's kind of hard to judge now until he makes his way across the finish here. And there we go, but what will it be? It will be a 58.1, and that is really quick out there. That's the fastest lap out of the session so far. The fastest we saw in qualifying was a 57.7. So keep that in mind as well. Those are the times people are going to be aiming for during qualifying here. Although that was obviously a practice session, so not a lot of people practicing their hot laps, mainly their main stints, I suppose. Now, with 15 minutes per race, we get a little bit less, of course, you know, tactical action. It's just making your way through. Very little drivers will have to come in, apart from the drivers that have got some damage, of course. So therefore, it's pretty straightforward here. The first race will be having its starting position decided by the qualifying session we're watching right now. Then race 2 is decided on the outcome of race 1. And then we're doing a reversed grid for the third race as well. So we've got 3 races tonight on fixed setup cars as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they all end up dealing with that here. Outlap here has now been converted into a flying lap here, so we gotta keep our eyes out on the drivers that are going. Benjamin Eck makes a small mistake and goes onto the grass, and that means you're gonna be sliding. So does Marcin Morel. Both having the exact same problem at the same time here. Now, Sarah Cianella is about to set a lap where he could be improving on. Currently the second fastest, but even then this looks so far away. So unless he's making up that time into the last sector, that we're going to be seeing an improvement that goes him onto the top. And well, it will be a purple sector 3. However, that's not good enough to make him in. Hello, is Dazza Snips in the race, please? Let me check for you, my friend. Dazza Snips, Dazza Snips, Dazza Snips. I don't see anybody, but if that's not the full name, then let me know as well. Because obviously I'm very unfamiliar with everybody on track right now. I've seen a couple in Assetto Corsa Competizione. For example, this man, Benjamin Eck. This lap's gonna be an improvement. We already knew that based off the incident that we saw a little bit earlier. We gotta keep our eyes out now. Who is doing great? Chris Jones on the mark for the first sector. Needs to keep that up. Try and do better here. This time we're using the layout without chicanes, so half a second slower now total. Could be a good improvement, to be fair, considering the best lap so far was a 59.0. So it's all going to come down to how this last sector was here. Make his way across, and that is a small improvement. Pushes himself up to P4 here, so nicely done by him to make his way through. Everybody's doing exactly what they need, and the lap times are pretty impressive at the moment as well. Alan Palmer we're watching. Just look at how hard it is with the understeery Clios. Got more power. That's about the only advantage they've got. Just so much slower through the first twisty section of the circuit, but I wouldn't be surprised if they make up for that over on this part of the track here, where Alan Palmer was just able to use that power and he's got in his Clio Cup, then makes way past. Now he's slightly slower than the top dogs right now in the session, but still a 58.068 is the time to beat, set by Benjamin Eck. Probably had a race in RF2 and he's in this F-Road Discord. Thanks for looking. Well, there is a possibility that he is named Riders on the Storm, perhaps. That's a driver that I'm not sure what name it actually is, as Alan Palmer goes for a 59.2 lap time. So the improvements are being made here, as the current pole sitter is yet to make his way across, but this time it won't be an improvement, as he's been slower in the first 2 sectors here. So trying to build up that lead, but it won't be this lap. Still an impressive lap coming out though. These drivers are doing so well. Keep their things together. I can only say very well done by them so far. As Riders on the Storm makes his way into the pit again. Shepatorcho then. Try and improve on the lap time, as we've got a 22nd driver coming in now. A 1:02.02 is the second slowest time set so far. So unfortunately no improvements there. But maybe it will still come. I mean, there's still a couple laps to go. Most drivers will be able to get roughly 7 laps in from now on. Small yellow flag, but has been fixed earlier on, so nothing to worry about just yet. As I can't sit still. How that's his real name, but you never know. Is currently in P5. The Sector 1 target time looked quite well here, as we see Alan Palmer struggling to keep the car onto the track in the background. Who's this caster? I'm not entirely sure who it is, or who it could be, Marcus. I could have no clue. Might have heard of him before. Hey Alex, how's it going, buddy? Welcome to the game you dislike, I suppose. I can't sit still. Good second sector coming in. They're able to use the slipstream of the Mazda ahead of him as well, so that's quite nice. choosing that to gain a little bit of extra time, and in the end it will be a 58.919, which is not bad at all here. Most drivers are doing 58s at the moment. Top 10 is all within 59 seconds, which is not bad at all, as a couple drivers are yet to set a lap in as well. Somebody was off to the side, I'm not entirely sure who that was. Weren't able to see it. Mark Stewart also finding his way into the grass now. Yeah, not a fan. Well, I'm about to try it out for the first time, so... No, that's what I'm technically doing right now already. I do like the format of this, though. Free shorter... I do like the free shorter race concept here. Rodolphe Bureau, he was one of the fastest in the practice. Third fastest, if I recall correctly. Now he seems to be struggling, at least so far. But on his out lap, it's not going to be improving just yet. So we have to keep an eye out, see what he's actually able to do. And same goes for the driver we're currently watching as they teleport back into the pits here. Remove names if you want to, press tab. Yes, I was going to. But the problem is that when I do this, right, it's fine. But then I have no clue who's driving behind. This that might have been my Mark Stewart going off. Because now it's hard to say, you know, who's actually who. Because I'm not that familiar with the drivers and the liveries as of yet. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. But we'll find something, I'm pretty sure. Watching Chris Jones now. Starting another fast lap coming in. Who's the mystery name behind the account? James? Most likely it is James. Yes, that would be what I would suspect here. James racing himself, actually. I don't think he is, right? No, it doesn't appear to be. But maybe next time round, you never know. Half a second off so far. Things went to the last sector on the absolute limit there. Now right-hander coming up and then it's just full throttle all the way. But the bumps might be deadly, so you have to be careful. Trying his best. Keep it up if it helps. Yes, James. I'll see. I'll see what I do. I'll see what I'm comfortable with. And maybe I'll even change it later. We'll see, I suppose. Simone Giannini. Right his luck. Has to reset into the pits after that incident here. Time's running low now. As only a couple drivers remain now onto the grid there. A lot of them have come into the pit here. The fastest man, Benjamin Eck, with a time to beat that is the only 57 on the grid right now. Oh, by the way, Ricky doesn't like the wells. Found that out the hard way. I made one joke about it, and it's just haunting me ever since. And I regret making that joke now, although not really. Doesn't help you can't pronounce the names. True as well. It's always the Italians, man, that I struggle with. Zanini coming out of the pits now. You just gotta do your best with what you've got. This is Boki Obradovic. Very much on the limit there. Currently 3/10 off the pace, but the Clio seemed to be a tiny bit slower through the first section. And if we look at the comparison now between the drivers, the top 10 currently features roughly, if I'm not mistaken actually, yeah, it's 5 MX5s and 5 Clios in the top 10 as of now. Therefore, safe to say that improvement will be possible everywhere. Now, Boki Bradovic, currently 19 fastest, and it's got quite an easy time to beat, you'd like to think, but then he kind of slides across and resets into the pits afterwards. 2 minutes remain. About to head into the first race of the night here, 1 out of 3 here, but obviously it's a shorter sprint format. So, yeah, I can't wait for that one personally. Marco Elmsden just starting his fast lap again. We're going to stay aboard with him for a little bit longer now. Has gone all out with the custom livery. Chris Jones is just in the server now, actually. I did notice it. He was missing for a little bit then and then joined later as the Field is now expanded to 22 drivers. Quite a bit slower in the first section here. That is the trickiest section. But even then, Michael Elms struggling to get the car around at a pace where he wants it to be. Gonna be 2 seconds off at a minimum here, but struggling to even keep it within the lines. That's just the nasty thing about the understeer these cars will have. But is it good for an improvement, however? The answer is pretty simple. The answer is no. We're now into the last minute now, so everybody who has not made it across now will be struggling to get another lap in, which is interesting. And drivers like him, Ginella, will be able to get the last lap in, of course, but do they use the safety car in this race? As far as I know, they don't. However, I'm not entirely sure. I do actually have a feature here where I can show that there's a safety car out. Look, that's quite cool. Same for code 80, but I don't think we use those in the race. Don't you love it when the systems don't function as they should? Have you tried turning them off and on again? Assetto. For the time he's currently set, this is a very good first sector we're seeing here. 4/10 of the pace compared to the top drivers. Once again, they're struggling in the middle sector. Surprising, that's the one they've been struggling with the most, as Assetto goes a little bit over the limits, it appears. As the session has now come an end there, drivers will be allowed to finish up their lap, of course. As always, to make things a little bit more fair. And Assetto won't be able to push it out of a potential top 10 at least. Dave Goodway right behind that Clio, using him perhaps for some kind of slipstream. A little bit of a tow could do wonders in a qualifying lap. Oh, we do. That's great. Who's driving the safety car then? Or how does that work? Is it like AI? Could be the computer as well. Once we see one out there, somebody's got to notify me. And everybody now coming to a halt as well. Mark Stewart finishing P16. I think he also knows that he's supposed to be a little bit quicker now. But that's qualifying over here. So it's going to be Benjamin Eck to finish at the front. Followed by Marcin Morel, Saro Cianella, Mauricio Ronchetti, Carlo Messina to round out our top 5 as well. Then we've got Dave Goodway, I Can't Sit Still, Andrea Lucisano, Romaric Lagarme, Andrea Bordetto. Then we've got Chris Jones, Simone Tisanini, Tony Noda, Boki, Obradovic, Rodolphe Bureau, Mark Stewart, Alan Palmer, Adrian Samsel, Tom Brunel, Michael Elms, and to finish out the field of 21 drivers here, it will be Riders on the Storm here. So we have seen one disconnect now, as it stands, as drivers are getting teleported over to the pit. And we are soon ready to go here. One driver still into the pit now. That's going to be interesting. But it won't be too long here until we get underway. And if I recall correctly, it is a standing start that we do here. So a little bit different as to what I'm used to. Obviously, I mainly do Assetto Corsa Competizione. Finally managed to log in. Took like 5 minutes. This is why I leave for 30 minutes early. 30 minutes early. You live across the town, but it doesn't matter. The lights are gonna get out here, and all eyes are on Benjamin Eck. Does he get away? Well, everybody's off, but he's off to a horrific start. Everybody else passes him on the straight. It's the 2 drivers at the front, not able to do good at all. Service lagging like a madman. So be it. We are continuing with the race anyways. I Can't Sit Still's made his way up to third now. Already with a massive start it's been from him. And now so many drivers have gone off into the background as well. You can see how big of a mess it is. And I believe that is Marcin Morel was in there all the way back now. More and more drivers coming across as one of the Clios finds himself facing the wrong way now. It's hard to say who it really is here. It's an absolute massacre coming into the first lap. And now already some drivers falling behind by quite a big margin. More drivers off now. That might have been Benjamin Eck, the former race leader. Finds himself into the wall now. He's got a little bit of a comeback to do now, as it will be Maurizio Rontretti to start the race and very well, and also make himself into first position. So often the volume, maybe the game volume or the bike volume. It's always a little bit tough because you can only really test it if you've got 1 or 2 drivers next to each other. And that's the maximum it will go, so I have to adjust my volume based on that. And I asked as well, how is the volume, lads? And nobody gave me an answer, so that's not my problem. I'll try and fix it later, I suppose. Can't really do much about it now. I'm gonna reach Lacambria Bournemouth, but there's once again a yellow in sector 3, so there has been an incident once again all the way at the back here. Benjamin Eck finds himself into the pit lane now. The game. Yeah, okay, fine, but how much? We should be a little bit more specific. Also, I feel like it's kind of part of racing culture to have the microphone too low so you can hear the cars better. So that's obviously more important than the commentator itself, to be honest. Montretti leading by quite a bit here, and he will be the one to set a new fastest lap as well. The MX5 of Gianella is able to make his way past. I can't sit still. Nicely done by him. Makes his way past now into second position. He's gone. Whereas the fastest lap time now belongs to this man, Carlo Messina. With the Mazda MX5 has set a impressive 58.1, which is now the time to beat as well for the rest of the drivers. It's pretty serious stuff out here tonight here. Keep in mind this is only our first race of 3 as well. Marcin Morel has made his way back up a little bit here. He was the one struggling earlier for pace here. Has to go on the brakes here, so he can't really get by the Clio. Maybe he'll be able to go side by side into the next one. 5%, maybe I already did that. Already lowered it by like 3 decibels. And Marcin Morel still chasing the Clio. I thought there maybe would have been a chance to go side by side here, as see 2 similar liveries, so definitely some kind of a team going on here. They both make their way past the Clio now, but now you're on the outside line, which definitely isn't optimal either. Going down the inside of one of the yellow Clios as well, as Marcin Morel finds himself very, very wide here, spins around. And well, that's goodbye race once again. Safe to say it's been messy so far. It goes for all of the drivers here. Onto the Opel section goes Buki Obradovic. Makes his way through nicely. But still kind of falling in a no man's land where he isn't really fighting with anybody behind or ahead of him. Dave Goodway just gone fastest on the first and second sector. Now looking to also do that again into the next one here. Well, a 143, so that's actually slightly slower here as the Clio locks up right behind him. Luckily he's able to escape that. Very nice. He'll make his way up into P5 now, as we are already getting into back markers here. It's getting messy, as it was actually an overtake here onto position, as Carlo Messina did go quite wide. And Dave Goodway makes his way past, gets himself onto P4 for now. So both the Clios and the MX5s quite competitive. The current top 2 is a Clio, and then we've got 3 MX5s in a row here. So diversity on the field's doing great. And obviously these Mazda MX5s are lighter, have less power, but are a little bit more agile as their rear-wheel drive. And we see also that them being lighter helps a lot, right? The front-wheel drive Clios are tougher to handle, in my opinion, and it's kind of hard as well because you want to make sure that you don't lock up with them, which we have seen before. Of course, well, Dave Goodway now going for a move around the outside perhaps, and there's a little bit of a collision, but it's also Dave Goodway going wide and nobody's able to recover. An absolute nightmare for some of the drivers coming by here. 2 players now forced all the way back. And that's just how it is sometimes, I'm afraid. How many drivers still driving close to each other? We are aboard with Tom Brunel. Gains a position on the driver that's come all the way out here. And Tom will be trying to find his way back here, doing the absolute best he can. He was actually the one also to invite me for RF2 comms, which has been a great experience so far. It's A lovely game, to be honest. Although it is a little bit of taking used to. And well, that is Tom Brunel colliding with the MX5 ahead of him. That's not what you want to see at all. That stuff. Was that the car of Mark Stewart then? I suspect it was. It's going to leave some mark on the race in itself. Here's Benjamin Eck. Fastest driver finds himself all the way back now. Keep in mind, he was the driver that was on pole position. But now the race lead is in the hands of Icon Sit Still. But it is the driver that you see ahead now. Mauricio Ronchetti still fighting back all the way. Icon Sit Still. She's going to have to wait. I wonder whose alias that is actually. A little bit surprising still. You don't really get to see a lot of aliases. Most people tend to stick with their real names. Saro Cianella. Number 11 car. There is a big collision there, but it's just him and the big bumps that you've got on the side of the track. Which is a little bit unfortunate as well. That's kind of what Lime Rock Park is known for. I'm sure that everybody who's played low fuel motorsports on Assetto Corsa, or anybody that's played iRacing rookies, found himself in a position where at some point they do hit that bump just a little bit too hard here. The curbs on this track are deadly, which is also why it's so surprising to me that I've actually run full-on IMSA-ish races on here, where the track doesn't really seem suitable at all. Now, I did see GT3s out there. I'm not sure if I actually saw IMSA cars out there. I can't believe they ever would do that, right? It wouldn't fit at all. But it is an absolute lovely track here. Yellow in Sector 1, but what has happened then? It's hard to say for now. At the moment it's kind of unclear. This is Michael Elms we're aboard with. Right ahead of him is Marcin Morrow, who's had his fair share of incidents as well. And behind we've got Tom Brunel, who has unfortunately been caught up in an incident as well. So some of the drivers that I consider to be top drivers are struggling here. When it comes to me, all tracks for that. Yeah, because you need to get more experience in. Andrea Lucisano in P4. Representing a team that I'm not going to pronounce. My French is absolutely terrible. I gotta admit it though, that livery looks good. The gap currently between the top two is still marginal, but it still is Ronchetti in the lead for now. Zanini behind on 4 laps. He's kind of given up, I believe. He is still out there on track though. There they go, side by side once again. A little bit of bumping, and that is a full-on pit maneuver, basically. Icon Sit Still will take over the lead that way. A little bit of rubbing and some great door-to-door racing. Just taking that a little bit too literally, I'm afraid. As rFactor takes its time to promote its own socials. rFactor 2 and Studio 397, the developer of that game, that is. But we've got some more battles towards the back as well, where it's Saro Cianella, as well as Alan Palmer, that is. Now going for the move here down the inside. The Clio's already struggling on a corner like that, but they managed to keep it clean for now. And the Clio is able to stay ahead for now. Saro Cianella, I thought he would have done it there, but I'm afraid that's unfortunately not what happened. Still holding on strongly, doing their absolute best. And Saro Cianella to get into P10 for now. Doing their damn best to make things work for now. Riders on their storm, also getting back to the driver ahead of him. That's actually not an overtake for position here. It's Marcin Morel who is the driver ahead here, so that's already a driver getting lapped a couple times. As more and more drivers shift positions once again. The fight for first place still isn't over yet either. I can't sit still. In second place for now. As Ronchetti is still leading the entire thing here. Just look at how much they're swerving on the straights here. They're not willing to give this up. I can't sit still then could go for a move where he sticks around the outside here. Once again, it's rubbing, and it will be the MX5 then to make its way past. That was probably the worst thing that could have happened in that scenario. Carlo Messina moves up to second place, and now I can't sit still. Well, he's being left to space, and he will take over that position again. So he is fighting back. That was just about the worst thing that could have happened there. Sometimes these things happen, right? Sometimes you've just got these small little incidents happening. And the MX5 not out of the mix here either. The lap times are surprisingly similar. The MX5 of Messina is a slight bit quicker. The difference for now is marginal. It's just like, when do you go wheel to wheel? You might feel a little bit weaker in that MX5 as well, knowing it doesn't have the same kind of rubbing power that the Clio has. So I can't wait to figure out how that one goes. I can't sit still. In second place now, as Messina tried to have a look down the inside. Unfortunately, it is I can't sit still to just lock the doors in for now. Nice blocking going on, just defending actively. But it does mean that Ronchetti is slowly but surely getting away here. Just a little bit deeper on the exits there of the corner. I can't sit still, hoping to make up that space as they make their way into the uphill. Still side by side. I can't sit still, so aggressive on this. He wants to defend it just so badly. However, if he'll be able to do so, only time will tell, I suppose. It's not going to be too long till we find out, as we are already into the last 2 minutes of the race here. But don't be sad, we've still got a second race ahead of us as well. Or some of the top dogs will be starting from the back as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one pans out later on. This is Chris Jones. Goes into the last corner, then you can just see how much the mics shake. As the cars absolutely look stunning on the inside. This is Andrea Bordetto trying to find a connection over to the driver ahead of him. He's still 2 seconds away for now, so we're just going to have to wait. We can make up that gap here. And the gap has just become a little bit tighter, as Andrea Luciano has lost a little bit of pace there. Small mistake, but definitely not in the danger zone as just yet. That could change later on here. Here is Tom Brunel finding his way to the back of the Clio ahead of him. As I say that, it's Tom Brunel now on such a small difference between the two, and he could just complete the move here. This would be ballsy, and I'm afraid it won't be there for now. Maybe another opportunity will arise here later on. Trying his damn hardest to make his way past you, just onto the grass, just so aggressive. But unfortunately, there's a very little grip here, as it's not long now until we find out who ends up winning the races. Ronchetti now with quite a big gap ahead, not shown on stream. So here we have a move for Alan Palmer, making his way past Carlo Messina, that is, who's falling back a little bit now towards the end of the race. Now we'll see if things remain the same here. Ronchetti on the uphill here, wondering if he's able to put in another lap. Only time will tell, I suppose. Riccio Ronchetti making his way onto the Samposi straight one more time. We'll be able to get another lap in here. The race is finished and 0 minutes remaining is the call, but I think they just about made it through. So now it will all depend on if on when he finishes here. So they're putting in another lap here. Means everybody behind him will do the exact same thing. And Alan Palmer here losing another position to Dave Goodway, making his way around now. Into turn one they go. Just made up a couple positions. We've still got 22 drivers on the grid here, but a couple drivers are more competitive than others in this particular race for now. As Mauricio Ronchetti We'll make his way around the final couple corners one more time, the downhill, and then just one right-hander to finish the race in first steer. The only thing he's got to do is just hold that throttle on for now. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner for the first race, and it will be Maurizio Ronchetti. Doing his darn best to make it through. Then Icon sits still in second. Then we've got Dusano, Andrea Bordetto. Now Chris Jones finishing on as well. Still two side by side here. I think it might have been Obradovic just about making it through, and indeed that is the case. Gaps are very marginal though. Everybody just making their way in there. A lot of drivers already finishing. See the order yourself as well. It's Chris Jones, then Obradovic, Chinella, Noda, Palmer, Morel now making his way through as well. Ash just finished. Dennis Bureau, Messina, Samsel, Riders on the Storm coming in. And this is Michael Elms to finish right behind Tom Burnell, who is finishing right behind Riders on the Storm as well. Then we've got Mark Stewart making his way through. And then Benjamin Eck, unfortunately, has come into the pits as well. Tizianini make his way in as well. And that means we've come to an end for the first race here. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. We are soon going to get ready with another one. Before we do so, we are going to head into a small break as we usually do here. That will give the admins some time to set the correct order. And the order here that we have finished in will also be the order we start our second race in. So ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in just a moment.
Calling to say I calling to say I
Alright, and we are back getting ready for race number 2 here. The starting order has been decided by the results of last race as well here. So, we're getting ready. We are a little bit behind on schedule, but that is alright. I am ready to go and I hope you guys are as well. We've still got the same amount of drivers set on the grid here, that being 22. And I am ready to go. It is just a matter of waiting for the race to start here. And there we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there we go. We are once again off at Lime Rock Park, Connecticut. Some of the MX5s are getting away so slowly compared to the rest here, meaning that the races are a little bit harder for them on the starting side. You can see that it's mainly MX5s towards the back here. Marcin Moreau also losing a couple of spots as a result of that as well. That driver behind him is Tom Brunel, doing what he is supposed to. Gets out of the way, knows he's slower for now. Marcin Moreau here already sees that there's a driver right in there as well. Nice recovery that is here. We've got your name into the server now as well. Because why would you set your own name in multiplayer? Well, the answer is you're not going to, I suppose. I don't know why that has happened, but so be it. Sometimes that happens. And I'm not actually sure if it's an AI or me misclicking the entire thing. Lag, yeah, welcome to rFactor 2. The game that might just have the worst UI and worst lagging broadcast out of every game. It's absolutely awful. But the thing is, I have 0 packet loss or 0 lags, whatever, on my stream. That's just how the games look for me as well. It's a common issue with this game. A bit unfortunate, but there's no way around it, I'm afraid here. Now that we've got into the second race, I think it's fair for me as well to explain what else we are doing nowadays. We've got quite a couple cool things going on here. The next up league that we're doing is a classic British Touring Car Championship race, which is also a lot of fun, of course, to have that from time to time. That shake is very excessive. Yes, welcome to rFactor 2 once again. I've read into the quirks that this game has got to offer. There's a couple weird ones out there. It's currently Clio led though, all the way through. The top 4 is currently Clio only. Before we've got our first MX5s coming in. So yeah, the gap between the drivers is getting smaller and smaller in some ends, but you can also see that the back of the field is kind of falling apart for now. So not everybody's had this great start that they were hoping for, as one of the drivers, I believe that was Tom Brunel in the background, taking a little bit of grass across, which then means he's going to have to slow down to recover the car nicely. Obviously with the understeer you could just keep full throttle and eventually the car will straighten itself out anyways. But even then, things are tricky and they know that. Riders on the Storm trying their damn best to make things work, and that is one of the Clio Cups. Going quite wide there. There's the grey car we were watching in the background. It's messy. It's very, very messy, but sometimes that's just how these things go. Right, it's a small track. It's not really a lot of overtake opportunities. You just have to rub each other a little bit from time to time. It's Andrea Bodetta we're aboard with now. Getting closer to the Clio ahead of him as Icon Sit Still has been DNF'd here. Unsure as to why that has actually happened. I unfortunately am not able to get that information in, which is a little bit of a shame, but so be it. Sometimes these things happen, I suppose. Now this is just a test stream, of course, for rFactor 2. I have also seen a couple extra cool features like countdowns and video intros and whatever that I can use later on, but I haven't set it up for now, so unfortunately we're not able to use it this time round. But next time I will prepare something extra, see if I can make the stream look a little bit better as well here. But as always, the lag is still very much in place, which is a certified rFactor 2 moment. But I guess it's alright, there's nothing we can do with it. As for now, that is. I realized as well, I've still got qualifying on. Supposed to have the driver box on. Whoopsie, forgot to change that out. See, that's something you don't have to do in Assetto Corsa Competizione. But so be it. Now you can actually see the throttle inputs as well, which is quite fun. So as watch the gaps yourself, update live. Apologies for that, lads. It's something I'm gonna have to get used to. It's not something you do in Assetto Corsa Competizione. The game will automatically recognize what's going on. Plus you actually see less information on the screen. So on that side, if you set it up properly, it's actually an upside. Now 10 minutes remaining of this race here, as it's still Ronchetti in the lead, what could be good for a double victory here. Just gotta keep pushing. Right rear wheel not really doing what it's supposed to there. It's a little bit off the ground at some points, making it really rotate a little bit slower. That's got to do with the elevations as well, of course, in the banking. And just the tight turns in combination with the suspension that these Clios have got. This is Mark Stewart we're watching. Trying his best to get in there, but at the moment he's kind of far away. Maybe that will change a little bit later on then. Only time will tell, I suppose. There's a yellow flag out. It's your name. Crashing out a little bit. And I'm unsure as to what actually happened there. And oh, what is that? One player off in the background, one in the foreground. That is not what you want to see at all. Yeah, that's what it's called, your name. I don't know what else it's supposed to be called. Now, I think I might have summoned in by clicking on the wrong thing. That is a possibility. But it could be anybody else summoning an AI. Welcome to the game. Very great here. We've got a nice little battle going on here. Multiple drivers involved. As there's a slight touch and one of the drivers going off there. That's the MX5 just completely losing control there. Unfortunately, that will be ending soon as he's found his way off. Not the greatest of starts to that battle. He's fallen back all the way. Tom Brunel, this time in P12. Having a better race than he had last time round. Still got quite a lot of catching up to do. Heavy on the brakes there to get the car to turn in. Now full throttle all the way through here. This should be all flat for now. You have to lift a little bit in the Clio. As it's the Clio ahead of him to go really, really wide. And luckily everybody else is able to avoid him. He's standing still. Losing so many positions. As a result, big mistake here as we are halfway through the race already. These sprint races are so awesome because they're so hectic. As the gap towards the front has kind of been decided for now. We're not seeing a lot of change-ups there. The Clio dominating this round as well. As 4 out of 5 cars in the top 5 are the Renault Clio Cup. The only exception being Marcin Morel was doing significantly better than he was last time round, as here we see a move down the inside and it will be Rodolphe Bureau to lose out his P5, as now the driver had a mistake in that away, and it will be up to Rodolphe to try and catch up again if he can. Onto the straight, the gaps are roughly the same. Just hoping that there will be an opportunity soon. And only time will tell, I suppose. It's been clean towards the front there. Everybody's just kind of driving in no man's land, really. That is the harsh reality we are in. Oops, accidentally hovered over. Close that, please. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so things are a little bit weird compared to what I'm used to, but that happens, I suppose. And there we go. Maybe down the inside then for Tom Brunel. A good chance to try and make his way by. They're so close to each other. Chris Jones also right behind there though. These three aren't done just yet here. As we'll soon be entering the last 6-ish, maybe 7 laps, depending on if drivers make it through across the finish line just in time. Also depends on where the leader is, of course. As here is Tom Brunel going for a move down the inside now. After the straight, he manages to do it. He's made his way past now as the MX5 actually gets tagged off a little bit there. So he's onto the grass. Now as the battle done between those for now. So it's just the Clios now fighting it out here. For P10, it is Zanini that is currently chasing Tom Brunel. Belgian driver doing a good job at creating a small gap. Gap is up to 4/10 now, and now it's just a matter of building that up until he loses that connection. And for now, doing a good job at that as well. The times between the drivers are getting a little bit bigger now as well. Here we do have a battle though for P14. We've got Mark Stewart right ahead of him in the green Clio. In the green MX5 that is, of course. As they make their way through the last corner. Nice here. Sam Posey straight is a relatively short straight. Although it might feel like an eternity in these kind of cars. They're really, really slow compared to what I'm used to at least. Normally I see GT3 cars driving around. This time it's Clios and Mazdas, which I actually prefer, I think. The racing has been, well, very hectic to say the least. But it is still this man leading here. Mauricio Ronchetti doing what he's supposed to. Building up that gap. The gap already being 6.5 seconds behind. That's absolutely mental. There are still fights at the front as well. It is Marcin Morel versus Andrea Bodetto. And well, you can see as well that the times they're doing on the straights are kind of equal. Morel was slower in the last lap as Bodetto has made his way past for now at least. Can he keep that up here? The driver behind, that being Benjamin Eck, finding himself in the battle as well. It's the 3 MX5s here, still fighting for position all the way. But that we're watching as Benjamin Eck makes his way past the first MX5, that is at least. Now looking to catch up to that second as well. Obviously he's had to do a long recovery drive into the first race. This time he still wasn't starting at the front here. Now the downside is he's going to have to do it again, considering that he will be starting in a back position. Because the harsh reality is for now that the drivers we are watching will be swapping positions around. So it's going to be a reverse grid, as you might have seen before here in this race. Now, obviously there was already a race done before this as well. That was one we unfortunately couldn't be at. I was only asked to do the commentating just now. I had another opportunity, I believe, back then. And then next up we have got Bathurst, which is a track I'm beyond excited for. I was doing a Bathurst race yesterday as well, which turned out to be a disaster. That was an Assetto Corsa Competizione race with driver swaps as well, a longer endurance race with a new co-commentator as well, so that was really fun. Benjamin Eck in third for now, kind of cut loose from the rest, and with just 2 minutes remaining is looking to keep that stuff over. There are still fights back here. Marcin Morel with Bodetto as well as Luciano, all close by. Once again a battle, this time between 2 MX5s and one of the Clios. Making their way into the uphill part soon here. The MX5's kind of escaping for now. I'm afraid there's not really much that they can do about it. The Clio just seems slightly slower for now. In terms of lap times, that seems to be correct as well. And with just a little over 1 minute remaining, we are getting towards the end of the race one more time. Then next up is reversed grid, which will perhaps get a little bit messier. Now, with that logic, it's mean that a lot of the MX5s would be towards the front here as well. which is worse. And now I did just see actually that the last 5 drivers are all Clio, so they're going to be starting at the front, which could give them a big advantage as well, considering that the Renaults are off the line a little bit quicker than the MX5s, which surprises me, by the way. That's not something you get to see every day. As Ronchetti is making his way around, hoping to set another lap as well. I mean, the gap is 8 seconds already. He just wants to take this clean by now. But actually, surprisingly, he's not even doing the fastest laps for now, but he seems to be very consistent with it. And has stayed trouble-free as well, which is arguably just about as important to look at as well. Chris Jones. He's got Tom Bernil behind him, as we did just end the race here, at least on lap time. Now obviously we're gonna wait for the leader to get around here, and we'll see how things go. So they know they're in their last lap here, unless they somehow overtake the leader, which is pretty unlikely. But even then they become the leader, so that wouldn't work out at all. Anyway, he says they're not a lap down, I believe, but it is still Chris Jones versus now only the driver ahead of him, Boki Obradovic, as unfortunately Tom Brunel is falling behind a little bit here. Shame to see that happen, but that's racing here, as Maurizio Ronchetti is about to take first place in the 2nd race in a row here. Nicely done by him, as Benjamin Eck is able to get a very impressive 2nd position, considering his starting position wasn't too great here. We've got Antonio Notta make his way around, and so many other drivers. Morel then in 4th. Yes, indeed, that is the case. Moretto in 5th. And we've got the 6th for Luciano. We've got Biro, Chris Jones as well. Boki Obramovic is also making his way through. And now we've got Mark Stewart still wheel to wheel here. Who's going to get out ahead then? It will be Mark Stewart to finish P13. Gianella right ahead of him. Then we've got Brunel in P11 as well. Forgot to mention that. Then we've got Goodway in 14th. Messina in 15th. Lacharm, Tiziani, Palmer. They're all making their way back into the pits now. Michael Elms in P19. Adrian Samsel P20. And then we've got Riders on the Storm in P21. Just finishing the race as we speak as well. So Icon sits still with the DNF then. Will finish last place on the server, as we are getting ready for a 2nd race here. I am once again going to take a small break until that race is ready. So it should be only a minute or 5 until we get going again. So don't go anywhere, as we have some time to refill our water bottles and take any breaks we need. Oh, it's Usama Kanani. Holy, I'm your name. I just installed the game. All right, you are your name then. Yeah, I was wondering who that is, but that makes a lot of sense. But this game is way better than ACC. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Although, that might be a little bit controversial as well. Now, glad you're here, Mr. Kanani. If you could change your name in between the matches, it would be nice. Otherwise, I'll just keep it in mind. Don't worry about that. I have called you your name for the entirety of the race here. There's nothing that I can do about that one. But ladies and gentlemen, I will be right back. So I'll see you in just a moment.
just calling to say I... I'm just calling to say I
Hand on the wheel, got my pistons pumping, all 800 horses running. Oh baby. 125 in the middle of the night, got my engine thundering. Dream machine, racing queen, I'll take you wherever you wanna go. Let's slow us down, break the speed of sound. Tonight we all know racing. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Driving on the highway, blue lights flashing behind me. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Born to ride, Mustang 65, got that V8 engine with a fuel injection. Drop the clutch, pedal to the floor, turn that giddy button to a lion's roar. Dream machine, racing queen, I'll take you wherever you wanna go. Let's slow us down, break the speed of sound. Tonight we all know racing. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Driving on the highway, blue lights flashing behind me. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you.
Alright, and here we go again. We are once again getting ready for the last race of the day here. This time a reversed grid, as I mentioned before. So things are gonna get dicey out there. So now we've got the driver that was DNF'd earlier at the front. Antonio Nota already on a disqualification. What the reason behind that is, I am not entirely sure. But time will tell. There we go, once again getting underway. got a whopping 3 FPS as we speak, but we are underway. And once again, most of the MX5s are off to a, well, terrible start, I think it's safe to say. Things are just so messy with the starts right now, as all the Clios are away well. And once again, it just shows there's absolutely nothing that they can do with the Mazda MX5s, really. Although there has been a contact towards the back as well, which is not helping the cause as well, of course. Look at it, it's an absolute massacre. One of the drivers still driving backwards. I don't know who that is. Sam McNally has fixed his race lead, and once again, it is Marcin Morel finding his way all the way towards the back here. Now it's going to be interesting. How long can these slower drivers survive at the front? Passing on this track is not easy, as Tom Brunel is going very sideways there. If I'm not mistaken, that was him. Yes, indeed, he's fallen back all the way before I could even mention it. It's hard to even swap to him in the first place. He's driving again, but has lost his position. Is now down to P17, which could now turn into P18 as well, if it wasn't for that driver in the wall there that we saw in the background here. So things are messier. Things are definitely tricky on this track. You can just tell how much the drivers are struggling for understeer here. Everybody doing their thing, hoping to stay at the front, as the current order is as follows. I can't sit still in P1. Then we've got riders on the Storm, Alan Palmer, Michael Arms, and then Romaric Lagarme as well. Just doing what they're supposed to. Getting in there. The gaps between the drivers are very limited as of now. So this could expand as some drivers try to get away. Via Luciano, well, Luciano that is, quite wide there as well. You can tell that the MX5 next to him isn't very happy about it. Perhaps anticipating him to get a little bit more space and make his way past that way. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It's a Clio-dominated start. As at the end of the first laps, the first 7 cars in total are, well, Clios. And as I say that, there's been a massive incident. And that means that's going to change now. Bonchetti is once again underway. He was already making a massive comeback, and now gets bump drafted a little bit as well. That's tight. That's not what you want to see at all here. As Samsu has flipped the car over. A massive incident, and even finding himself on the wrong side of the fence there. And well, thanks to some magical physics, he is turning the car around. That looked like a massive incident. Tips the car over. Obviously the Clios have got a little bit of a higher center point of gravity compared to the other drivers, of course, in the MX5s. But yeah, that looked like a massive shunt, as Romaric Lagarme also finds himself off the ground there, and he's able to rejoin using the chicane layout of the track as well, which we are not using this time around here. I suspect we might at some point, or for this time around we didn't. And Benjamin Eck finding himself sideways and now even into reverse, losing all the positions here at the front as well. So he's gonna have to make another comeback here. Rejoining is even a challenge of its own at this point. Dave Goodway, currently the fastest MX5 driver. In P4 he stands, and he was relatively quicker, so I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he could fight for the lead, but the sooner he gets past him the better, as the drivers behind him are really quick as well. Dave Goodway for now just chasing, hoping to get by. At the moment it's not possible yet here, so she's waiting for an opportunity to arise here. As this is the current battle for second here. Icon sits still, creating a gap. He's woken up. His lap times are beautiful right now. 58 is doing. As the MX5 just makes his way past 2 of the drivers at the same time. So Dave Goodway here does exactly what he needs to and goes ahead of the rest of the Clio drivers here. Apart from that one driver still at the front, of course. But this is great for Dave Goodway. He could score some good points here. And if that order doesn't change too much here, things could get messy out there as well here. People are going to be fighting hard, of course. And, well, I guess it's safe to say that these events come with some point of contact guarantee as well, right? These are cars that are meant to be driven side by side and door to door. You will see some incidents from time to time, but despite it being hectic, the major crashes have stayed out, with the exception of one driver flipping over multiple times. It's been quite a ride, actually. This is Carlo Messina we're now aboard with, and he has got such a run on the driver ahead of him. And that will be Alan Palmer losing out on the spot as well, as they make their way off the Sam Posey Straight now into the first sector again. Sam McAnany is having a great result here as well. This is his first rFactor 2 race, he's told me. He just installed the game, he said. And, well, he comes from ACC originally. I remember him in the, I believe it was the Nordschleife event that I ended up doing for Formula Racing League, if I'm not mistaken. Where he was a really rapid driver. So, curious to see if he can replicate that success as he gets swapped around. Well, swapped around, I mean swept around, of course. So McNamee takes a big hit and is off into the runoff area, into the wall he goes. Alan Palmer then getting closer. Unfortunately, that understeer is just killing him right now. That allows the MX5 ahead of him to kind of get away. Tough luck here for Alan Palmer, although he's got plenty of time to still make up for it anyways. As Maurizio Ronchetti here is close to the driver ahead of him, that being Andrea Barretto. Clio Cup obviously being a car that's a little bit on the understeery side, and perhaps going side by side here is an option after all. I wouldn't dare to do so. He just about might. And Ronchetti makes his way past Lucisano now as well. So positions are changing up a little bit more as one of the drivers gone off into the background. But who was it? I'm actually not even sure. Was perhaps Rider of the Storm then? Yes, that indeed is the case here. Sam McAnany makes his way past now as well. Up to P16 he goes again. As the recovery was quite hard there as well for him, right? He's got plenty of damage as well that he has to take into account. It's just a tough sum of events, I think it's fair to say. Yeah, that's just how life is from time to time. Doing a good job at doing these things together. Right, the damage has been limited, although that is a big exception, of course, for that one T-bone and one major crash here. So normally, I like to compare it to ACC, where the cars are a little bit more weak as well, and the speeds are a lot higher as well. So compared to that, it's been relatively clean, which was to be expected, of course. 7 minutes remain of the race now, as we are more than halfway through this race already. Currently, it is still Icon sits still in the lead here, although Dave Goodway is catching him rapidly. The gap behind at some point was more than 5 seconds, but now it is just a Clio losing on time. So Dave Goodway is getting closer and closer. We got to keep our eyes out on when they do actually end up meeting here, because when they do, we could just see a swap around for position later on. And only time will tell, I suppose. The driver currently closest to Mark Stewart is Andrea Lucisano, but also Mark Stewart is fighting with the driver ahead as well. So I should put it on the extended battle here, so you get an idea of what's going on. It's Rodolphe Bureau leading this small group, and then it's Stewart, Cisano, Ronchetti and Bodetto all in the mix for some good points here as well. Because keep in mind, we're giving out a lot of points here in just one race weekend, as it's not really a race weekend, but you get the idea of it. They're all doing a massive job at it, to be fair. They're looking very, very nice all around. The races are clean from this point on, as Dave Goodway is catching up at a massive speed now, already finding himself to the back here, as the back marker's now getting into the way as well. Things could get dicey here. Icon Sit Still is now getting chased out. Well, can't really go side by side there, but how do you let him pass this? The back marker getting involved, and unfortunately it is Dave Goodway just saying thank you very much. I'll happily take that. He's now the new race leader, and as he was quicker per lap, I wouldn't be surprised if he creates a gap instantly. Icon Still's going to be kicking himself as well. Why did that back car marker have to be there? That's what he's wondering. With just 5 minutes, he's now going to be focusing on defending from the position behind as well. That is going to be his main concern for now. second position would be really nice, of course. Time will tell to see if they actually manage to do so here. Lucy Sana we're aboard with here. Driver next to him being, if I'm not mistaken, Andrea Bordetto. Andrea versus Andrea then. So far, no answer as to who's going to come out on top here. Lucy Sano is just holding on as much as he can. Gap between them is half a second for now. And with just 4 minutes on the clock remaining of this race, wouldn't be surprised if these things change around a little bit later on here. Mark Stewart in P7. The Clio behind him is a fight for position as well, so going to be stressing it a little bit here. As they all make their way through now, they go side by side, and you can tell that Mark Stewart isn't very keen on giving up that position, but he might just have to. We're on the inside, gonna have to outbrake the other MX5. And for now, it seems like he's able to do so, but then goes quite wide and does end up losing the position here. So he's made his way past now. And speaking of drivers we haven't looked at the same time, well, they have just made his way past. It's Michael Elms. P5 it is. For now, just holding on as good as he can. Icon sits still got a comfortable gap as well to the drivers behind him. So a P2 looking imminent. Though you never know when that changes, of course. We've got Saro Cianella chasing the Clio of Boki Obradovic. And they are neck and neck for now here. Onto the Samposi straight. Maybe a good chance to try and get by here into turn 1, perhaps on the inside. And there he goes for the lunge now. Is now side by side, is entitled to the space, and does manage to outbrake the Renault Clio as well. So Cianella makes his way past nicely and cleanly as well, which is just as important, of course. Bordetto once again fighting. It is still the same driver ahead of him that is focused on. It's Mark Stewart, of course. They've been doing well to stick with each other. Gap currently being very marginal. But one mistake is all it takes for Andrea Bordetto to make his way past Mark Stewart here. As they once again will go downhill again. Almost side by side now. Maybe potential for a move here, but it's going to have to go around the outside or go for the switchback later on. As they're also side by side elsewhere here. So who will come out on top? It looks like it might just be Mark Stewart for now. Bordetto gave it a good shot. Unfortunately, nothing came off it here. And now Icon sit still. Feeling the pressure behind. This Carlo Messina getting closer and closer here. Benjamin Eck, I believe that is a back marker involved as well. Yeah, there most definitely is a bigger gap between those two here. So the orange car you're seeing is not on the same lap. As Benjamin Eck has definitely been very unlucky. I know him as one of the faster drivers. Just putting him towards the back again just seems so cruel. Made a nice comeback into race 2. And as there's only a minute left to race, there's a good chance that Messina just takes it here, and that's exactly what will happen. The back marker also makes his way through now. He is faster, so he is allowed to go through as well. Just gotta make sure that he doesn't get into the way of the other drivers here. Michael Elms has fallen off to P6 for now, as Ronchetti has made his way past him. And the MX5 still side by side. As long as you're just able to keep each other up, he should just be fine as well. It's Dave Goodway still leading the race as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes another lap here. He should just about be able to do so. So 2 laps remaining as soon as he crosses the line then. 17 seconds, he should be able to make it through. It's not that big of a lap. Not that big of a straight anyways. And indeed he does make that comfortably. So getting closer now. Actually, this should be the last lap then. Of course, small mistake by me. Mark Stewart still close by here as the Clio is now getting into the way as well. Things are messy. The time is officially over as well, meaning we are just waiting for the drivers to come in here. And it is still messy. All entering their last lap now as we speak. And there you go. All the MX5s. One of them has gone very wide, very optimistic. All the way into the grass he goes. Not even sure what that is, to be honest. But that might have been Cianella, or... Yes, indeed, that was Sarah Cianella then going off into the distance. I'm afraid that's just how it goes sometimes. Now down to P11. As some of the Clios have now made his way past as well. Now he's still going to try and fight his way back to all the drivers, if possible, of course. As Dave Goodway will take the win in the reversed grid race. Followed by Messina. And then Icon sits still as well. So still P3 for him. Nicely done. As Alan Palmer's come P4. At least is coming P4 as we speak. As Ronchetti will finish P5. What a massive weekend it's been for him. 2 races at the front. And then one of them with a massive comeback. Mark Stewart will finish just ahead of Baudetto here. And Biro to finish right behind in P9 as well. Then we've got Obradovic, Cinella to come in P11. Chris Jones and then Osama Knani in P13 as well. Lucy Sano is next up. Then we've got Tom Brunel, Marcin Morel, Riders on the Storm, P17. And we've got Samson, Benjamin Eck, who's had a tough race again, I'm afraid. Lacharm, Torchio, Tizianini, and the disqualification for Antonio Nota to end the race here for tonight. So 3 races done now, ladies and gentlemen. Only got a couple words left before I'll send you guys off. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. This is my first rFactor 2 commentary ever. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Constructive criticism is always very much welcome, as I try to make the standards for myself as high as possible, of course. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to check out Taco Tuesday, the other live stream we are currently running on. And it's obviously the console league we are doing. And I hope to see you guys there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ricky DC from RDC Broadcasting. I have enjoyed the stream a lot. I hope you guys have as well. I will be back next Tuesday at the exact same time as well to see you guys on Bathurst as well. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that was it for me, and I'll see you later.